Let me just say that this final episode, after watching it, I only remember the song sung by Garnet when she faces off Jasper. And knowing forward that there was a lot more meaning behind these episodes, Jailbreak, while not one of my most favorite finales from Steven Universe, I have to admit that they really went all out on making this the very proper introduction on how they can handle finales. Mainly of what Friendship is Magic did with its finales, but I'm not comparing both shows, I'm just proving my point. Following the events from the last episode, Steven is imprisoned inside of a cell while the other crystal gems are inside their cells. When he gets out, since that he's the only character to go through the level force field, he comes across Ruby. At first he thinks he's another gem, but as it turns out, he was with Steven all along with another gem named Sapphire. He and Ruby came across Lapis, but she wants no part of it because she doesn't want them to get in danger, since that she went into danger while leaving Earth. After rescuing Sapphire, who's been sane, she takes Steven to where Ruby is at and they fuse into Garnet, which she was originally planning on doing on Steven's birthday, but due to the circumstances, she had no other choice. I have to be really honest with you, watching this for the first time made me mostly surprised, and when I mean mostly, it's mainly the fact that seeing two gems being fused together, I wasn't really into Ruby and Sapphire's character, despite the fact that this is the first episode where we get to see them. But after watching this episode again for preparation for this review, I have to say, it really feels like they really wanted to showcase Ruby and Sapphire, but showing little of what they have, considering that they're going to develop their characters as the series progressed. Then again, the stakes is the major highlight in this episode and the last episode, since that we're seeing the Green Hand about to take the prisoners to Homeworld. This is literally foreshadowing of what the first episodes of Season 5 is going to be like. And knowing full well that we'll see more mystery when it comes to Little Diamond being mentioned for the first time in the last episode, picking up these details really highlights that this show was ahead of its time by playing everything out. Granted, it's not perfect, but at the same time, I appreciate shows trying to plan everything ahead of time, even though that there are some occasions where it really feels like that they have to make things up along the way. Mainly the Beach City episodes, but we're not super intelligent to understand nearly everything, because I know full well that the people behind this show, along with other people behind other shows, aren't really that intelligent when it comes to taking shows a little seriously by playing everything ahead of time and doing them later on if there were last minute decisions. But let's get into Stronger Than You, sung by Garnet. Ever since I heard this song, I was obsessed with it. I've heard it multiple times after watching this episode. Since this was around the time where I'm getting into newer cartoons, this really gave me a good impression of what shows like Steven Universe are capable of. The music, the lyrics, it really makes me feel like that they really wanted Steven Universe to be mainly action-packed, but also work the songs into it. And even though that there may be other shows and other movies that may have songs into battle scenes or action sequences, I really feel like that this is one of the first times I ever experienced it when it comes to cartoons. Over-exaggerated? Yes, but at the same time, this finale kind of indicates that they're taking the characters seriously in comparison to other shows. Like, the only times I remember songs being played during action sequences was the Fairy Odd Parents when it comes to the Fairy Idol special, which I did remember the characters fighting each other, but it was mainly for comedy and it wasn't meant to be taken seriously. Well, despite the plot itself focusing on Timmy using his fairies. But getting into this episode, it really feels like that they really wanted the music to work into the action sequences, since that this is the final episode of Season 1. But that's not all when it comes to this finale. After the green hand crashed into the beach of Beach City, this leads to Jasper and Lapis fusing. And considering that this also gave Lapis the advantage to trap Hall and Jasper underwater, I have to be real with you, the fact that it's upsetting that we won't be able to see Jasper when it comes to hanging out with the main characters until season 3. They were trying to include Lapis's trauma when it comes to her toxic relationship with Jasper, since that's the fusion that showcased is mainly the characters trying to get along easily, similar to Pearl and Amethyst from the Giant Woman episode. So seeing this situation centering around Lapis and Jasper, they really wanted to make that work, and since that they only focused it on one episode, despite being in a dream, they really wanted to actually give Lapis more of a purpose onto why she's mostly absent in season 2. Even if I'm not one of those people who have to wait weeks or months for a new episode to come out when the show was airing, I still felt like that the execution of having these characters being absent when it comes to season 2 is really justified. Then again, they probably want to focus on Peridot's development in season 2, so that's why they focus on that, and mostly focus on Lapis's development once she returns in the beginning of season 3. But with that being said, I really enjoyed this finale from Season 1, and Season 1 is officially over. I'm not going to be talking about full disclosure because I've already talked about that in my Converse Anthology, so you're gonna have to go to that video before you tune in to Joyride. Even if that review that I made years ago was focusing on Steven and Connie's relationship, at the same time, I still go into detail on Steven being mostly serious on the scenario that he was in after the events of these 2 episodes. Besides, my opinions towards that episode hasn't really changed over the next 3 years, so for me personally, reviewing that episode isn't really a bad idea, but at the same time, I would have nothing else new to add to the table of my perspective of Steven Universe. So starting tomorrow, we're heading into Season 2. I'm giving this episode a 9 out of 10.